Okay guys, hi. So today I was just gonna do a little tutorial of how I draw um, the different tribes of dragons and their eyes specifically. Um, None of this is included in any of the books, like they don't tell you what the different types of eyes look like for the different dragon tribes, but I have this specific way that I do each tribe, and so I'm just gonna do a little tutorial, I guess, of how I do each of that. So, hope you enjoy! Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is have a group of layers set up. Um, there's a lot of them. This picture might look a little confusing, but this is just how I sort the different colors and effects that I'll have on my drawing and color throughout the piece. So your first layer, layer 1, obviously, is just the blank white layer, your background for your drawing. And then second layer up is the sketch layer. This one will not appear in the final drawing. This is just for you to put your sketch on. Um, the next layer up after that is it's a group layer, and so you're going to want to make a group out of this layer, and you're going to have several layers inside of this. You're basically going to have your color, which is where you just put the flat color base for the color of your eye on. Then you're going to have an overlay and a color dodge layer, and I named these the blending type for their layer just so I could keep track of it. So your layer called overlay is going to be an overlay layer. The you're going to change the blending settings on that. And then next up you're going to have the soft light layer, which again should be set to the blending type soft light. And you're not going to use this one for every type of eye, mainly only for the mudwings and sea wings is what I use it for. So you don't need to have it on a drawing if you're doing like an ice wing or something. And then you're going to have your shadow layer, which is set to hard overlay. Um, and then that's basically everything inside of that group is dealing with how you color the eye. And then above this is line art, which is what you're going to put your final line art onto. And then highlights is dealing with like the shiny parts of the eye. So that's the layers that you're going to want to have before you start, or that's what I use at least. Okay, so now I'm actually going to start beginning to draw here. And basically, we're going to start with mudwings. And I just started off by doing a simple sketch of the shape of the eye. Um, not too, it can be pretty rough because you're not going to have this layer in your final project. This is on the sketch layer that you're going to have. So just draw pretty lightly, but keep some basic structure to it so that you know where to put your line art later. Then you can turn the opacity down a bit so that you can see where you're putting your line art. Then on your line art layer, you're going to go in with a black brush. Just make the lines really clean, and yeah, basically, this isn't scripted. um, yeah, just put down the lines. You can turn, if you have like a brush smoother or something, some sort of setting like that, you can use that to make your lines smoother. I use a weighted brush tool so that I don't get shaky lines. Um, so yeah, just lay down your line art layer here. I use black, but you could use another color if you don't want your art to look so like cartoony or simplistic. Um, but yeah, um, then you're gonna once you're finished with the line art, you can get rid of the sketch layer because you're not gonna need it anymore for the rest of the artwork. Then you're gonna take your color layer and you're gonna lay down the basic color. You're gonna lay down the basic color of what you want your eye to be. So for this one, since it was a mudwing, I just decided to go with like a really basic brown color. Um, Basically, what you're gonna do next is I just like to kind of select the color on your color layer just using the select tool. And once you've done that, you can kind of start to shade it a little bit with some darker versions of whatever color you laid down. In this case, it's darker brown. Then you can blend them together once you like what it looks like. Once you're done with that, you're going to go in with a really textured brush on your overlay layer, and you're going to put down some dark colors around the rim and the top of the eye to just give it some depth and texture. Then you're going to go to your color dodge layer, still using dark colors and probably not as saturated colors because the color dodge aspect of the blending layer does tend to lighten it up a lot. You're just going to add some light to the bottom of your eye using a textured brush again. I used like a watercolor type of brush here. Then you're going to go back to your color layer, add some shading if you want. This just helps the eye look not as flat, gives it some depth, makes it look more round, in my opinion. Then what I do after that is I go to my shadow layer, which is set to hard overlay. And you can turn the opacity down on the hard overlay to make it not look so like so contrasting. Then you just, following the line of the shadow that you made, just add some shadow to the eye itself, the iris of the eye. Then you're going to go to your, since this is a mudwing eye, we're going to go to our soft light layer, and you're going to take, I used the color white, or like kind of a peachy, really pale color, and I like to have the eyes of my mudwings look like the pupils look a lot lighter than the rest of the eye. I just think it makes it look interesting. Gives the mudwings some uniqueness to their eye. So I like to do that. Then what I do is I go to my top layer, which is just the highlight layer. It's a normal blending layer, and I just add some white highlights to the eye to make it look shiny. These are the kind of highlights I normally do, but you can change them up depending on where your light source is in the drawing you're doing. Yeah, I just add some to the top. I usually add a ring to the bottom. It just helps it look more. It helps the eye stand out a little more. And yeah, for mudwing eyes, usually the only colors that I have them are like any shade of brown or orange. I do have, for my art personally, I have like parameters of what kind of color of eye is allowed in which tribe. So mudwings are any brown or orange color. Just like ice wings are any shade of blue or purple or gray. So yeah, bye.